Hi everybody, this is Jeremy Siskind. I'm the author of this book, Playing Solo Jazz Piano, and this new book, Jazz Piano Fundamentals, both of which are available now. And I thought because, of course, it's the holidays, and maybe everybody here is playing Christmas gigs or listening to Christmas music, I thought I would wear my red sweater and play you the song Silver Bells in a few different styles. There's something about this song, whenever I play it on a gig, that just fills me with warmth. So I really enjoy playing it, and I would want to walk you through some different possibilities for playing this tune solo piano. So I've got a little bit of a chart. Let's see if I can figure out which direction. Yeah, over there. And I thought we'd start this off by playing it rubato, right? Rubato is this push and pull. In jazz, we often do rubato with what I call a stop-start rubato feeling. Almost like we're putting fermatas after each lyrical phrase and then putting in some commentary. Oftentimes, the commentary, when you listen to the greats, is very virtuosic, but it doesn't have to be. It could be spacious, it could be chordal, it could be colorful. So let me give a try playing Silver Bells in this kind of stop-start rubato style. And I'm going to try to mostly be not so virtuosic. It's not hard for me to not be virtuosic. Here goes. So there's a little bit of a rubato ballad. And then the other ballad style that I love playing is what I call the repeated quarter note style ballad, which would be in time. And you're essentially playing a repeated note to keep time, as though it were the brushes keeping time on the drum set. So one of the keys to this is that repeated quarter note has to be very, very soft. But when done right, this feels like a soloist against an orchestra. And you want to make sure that you're playing the melody with a lot of personality, with maybe some different articulation, changing up the melodies, or changing up the rhythm so that it's not just da 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 da. And I'll probably try to play this in 4/4 rather than in 3/4 as it's written here. So it'd be something like this. Now, of course, when you play one of these styles, you don't necessarily have to stick to it the whole time. It would be really lovely. This song, it's kind of weird. It's like verses and choruses, but it doesn't feel like a pop verse chorus song. So it'd be nice to do the two verses, right? I'm calling those verses in a stop-start rubato style, and then go into that repeated quarter note for the chorus. Now, we could add a little bit of groove to this and put, for example, we could put these quarter notes onto offbeats. And in this book, Playing Solo Jazz Piano, I cover this. I call it kind of an ECM style ballad. So it could be, and we could, depending on what we do with the bass, we could make this feel more like a bossa nova or samba, or more kind of like a floaty ECM. If you're not familiar with that term ECM, it was this European record label, or it still is, that comes out with music that tends to be not necessarily as groovy, but still in time, mostly in straight eighths kinds of grooves. So if I wanted to really make this like a Brazilian bossa nova or samba, we would call it a double time feel. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. It's just fun, right? So we're really. I'm making that feel really like a bossa nova or samba because I have this bass going. And then I'm playing mostly offbeats with my bottom 2 or 3 fingers of my right hand and sometimes with my thumb of my left hand, so that all stays together. If we wanted to be more floaty, if we're not doing Silver Bells in Rio, we could still kind of keep those offbeats but have a less aggressive bass line. It still has a little bit of a groove, but it doesn't feel like, oh, we need to get up and dance to Silver Bells now. So those are 2 examples of kind of an offbeat quarter note ballad, or I think of it in that general category of Brazilian or ECM style ballad. Now, if we want to play this as a swing piece, I should have practiced this. Maybe I'll just transpose it to C to make life easier. One thing we could do is play them in closed position voicings, or sometimes known as shearing voicings. And when we do that, we don't really need a whole lot of accompaniment. It can, because those voicings are so thick and define the chords so well, we actually don't need all that much other stuff going on. So it could be. swing, trying to make it interesting with just those close position voicings, making that melody super, super compelling, and adding a bunch of accents and ghost notes to make it swing. See how my left hand's much more active than my right? Coming out of that, I just want to go into stride piano. So let's do that next. Something a little too fancy. I'm not good enough to do it without rehearsing it first, but I'm trying to answer the right hand, right? So the right hand plays silver bells, and the left hand, I want you to hear that. So it's the top note of this note, top note of this, bottom note of this, top note of that. But it's too fancy for me, especially as you get to the F. Let me see if I can do it. So that's just a lot of fun. As I do this, I'm just really trying to get into the swing of them. So with my pedal, I'm kind of connecting the strong beats, beats 1 and 3, to the weak beats, beats 2 and 4. Just to make it swing, because it's such a beautiful medium tempo to almost get like Errol Garner-y with your accents, right? What I mean by that, right? Errol Garner was kind of famous for playing quarter notes and then having these like really track, thinking about Errol Garner. And then maybe the last way would be actually with the bass line. And I'm such an advocate as an educator. If you're not into bass lines yet, start with a bass line in 2 before you play a bass line in 4. Bass lines in 4 are tricky. And bass lines in 2 sound great. When I play just a bass in the left hand for accompaniment, I usually move my right hand down to cover the chord range. I grabbed this from Oscar Peterson. If you've ever listened to his recording of Perdido, he starts... and it fills in the harmony more than if you were... So I'm going to do that same thing as I play Silver Bells. I'm going to start in a 2 feel. through it a little bit. First thing that I did was I just played the melody with against the bass on 2, right? And there's so much room for you to be playful with the melody, so don't forget to be playful. This tune loves a little bit of blues. Put some blues in there. Second thing that I did was I did what I've heard some people call it the third hand approach, where you're playing a melody and then with the bottom fingers of your right hand, you're doing some accompaniment. I'm blanking on the name of the guy who's made this famous. It'll come to me. Oh, I apologize. I suck. And I was kind of trying to do it in quarter notes. Down that low because the chords start getting very low. Then I continued that and I did repeated bass notes. So I'm in 4, but I'm not really walking a bass line exactly. So it still kind of is about halfway between being in 2 versus in 4. And then finally, when I wanted to kick it up a notch, I went into a walking bass, a pretty weak walking bass, but still, I'm trying. All right, guys. So that is a few different ways to play silver bells. By the way, in this book, there's a whole chapter about what you can do to walk an interesting bass. And in this book, if you're newer to bass lines, it actually walks you through, pun I guess intended, really how to play a bass line in 2 from scratch, assuming that you know really nothing about how to play bass. This one will teach you how to play that bass line in 2 in a lot of detail. So, Merry Christmas, everybody. Thanks for all of your support, and I'll see you soon. I'm not going anywhere. Bye-bye.